He stood up with a burning face and pretended it was nothing but the kind of nothing that sits in your gut for hours. That was the same moment a stack of busted office machines rolled down the line and caught his eye because one metal box in the pile made a deeper thud than the rest. He worked at the municipal waste processing plant outside Cleveland, where forklifts beeped non-stop, and the air carried a mix of ozone and burned plastic. His shift started early and ended late, and nobody there cared about anything except keeping the belts moving. The hauler had dumped 2 pallets of stuff that morning from a company liquidation. Shredded binders, broken chairs, a shredder full of jam strips. In the middle of that was a squat gray NAS unit with 4 drive bays and a faint handwritten tape-reading archive set C. He lifted it off the belt to keep it from snagging on a broken metal frame. It was heavier than he expected, and that alone made him pause. He set it aside to check later. Tiny win. That caught the attention of the shift lead, who barked that anything leaving the line needed to be logged. Luis nodded, but the embarrassment from the earlier fall twisted in him, and he decided he would take the warning rather than leave the box to be crushed. When the lead moved off, he slid the NAS under a crate behind the electrical panel. At lunch, he pretended he needed the bathroom and retrieved it. A second win. Then came the setback. As he shoved it into his backpack, one of the mechanics saw him and smirked. Taking souvenirs now, huh? Pretty soon you will be running your own tech shop out of that bag. The comment stuck to him all afternoon like old glue. When he got home to his small rented apartment behind the tire shop, he wiped the NAS with a rag and plugged a cable into the back. To his surprise, the power light went steady on. A tiny fan hummed. That faint vibration told him every setback he thought he had already hit was nothing compared to what waited next. Luis logged into his old laptop and let it scan the home network. The NAS appeared with a generic label. When he clicked into it, a login page came up. No company logo, just a blank, demanding screen. He tried simple passwords without success. He stared at the page until the streetlight outside flicked on. He thought of letting it go. The plant's rules said anything containing data had to be reported. But he had already taken the thing home, and hiding it now felt like driving with a cracked windshield and hoping no cops noticed. He searched the model number online and found a forgotten forum where someone described a reset trick involving a paperclip and a tiny button under the backplate. He tried it. The NAS rebooted. Admin login opened. The dashboard loaded with a list of users from the old company. There were folders for accounting, payroll, and one single user named BTC_backup. That name alone raised his pulse. He opened it and found compressed files, timestamp spreadsheets, and one text file named Seed in Notebook. He powered the NAS off and sat back. His neighbor upstairs stomped around. A siren wailed far away. In his hands was something that clearly had once mattered to someone and maybe still did. The rational thing would be to drive it straight to a police station. The stupid thing would be to break into those files. He did neither. He let the NAS sit on the table while he paced the narrow kitchen. The next day at work, a contractor joked loudly that people sometimes toss out whole crypto rigs because they forgot passwords. The joke hit Luis harder than intended. He returned to the line with fresh doubt. That afternoon, he caught himself imagining the fiberboard cubicles that those files must have come from. Maybe the office was still intact. Maybe the notebook still existed. And that thought was the spark he could not put out. On his next day off, he took the NAS apart carefully. He slid out the first drive. It was cold and solid in his hand. He used a USB adapter he once bought to rescue family photos and connected the bare drive to his laptop. The drive mounted as several partitions. Using a tool he downloaded, he opened the BTC_backup directory in read-only mode. There were wallet files from different years, records of purchases, a spreadsheet tracking transactions. The last tab stopped abruptly with a note saying relocate everything once the market stabilizes. That single line gave the files a human smell. Someone had plans. Someone had been cautious. He checked device information inside the NAS manual and found a company name attached to the system identifier. Harbor Ridge Data Consultants. A quick search showed a closed office in downtown Cleveland. He looked at photos online and recognized the block near a coffee shop he once visited. The addresses matched the liquidation hauler's route. Inside the BTC_backup folder, the file Seed in Notebook pointed to a locked desk middle drawer. This meant real paper. No fantasy. No dramatic clues. Just regular office rules. Luis drove downtown on a gray morning. The building looked half empty with windows covered in dust and a directory with ancient peeling labels. The security guard at the front listened politely when Luis explained he worked for the city waste plant and needed to confirm whether sensitive materials had been properly cleared. The guard showed him a storage basement where leftover items from the office cleanout remained. Shelves sagged with cardboard boxes. Luis put on gloves and opened them one by one. Old staplers, dried markers, rolled up motivational posters. Then behind a tall stack he found a carton marked HRDC desks. Inside were notebooks and folders. His pulse jumped. A small win. He found a black notebook with a name inside matching one of the authors of the spreadsheets. Near the back were 24 handwritten words. Simple English words spaced evenly. He stared at them with a shiver of recognition. This was the seed. Not stored digitally. Exactly as the text file promised. He closed the notebook without taking a picture. That decision felt heavier than the drive itself. Luis did not trust himself to make the next move alone. He searched for an attorney who understood digital assets and found a small law office in Lakewood that handled estate and tech matters. The attorney Ana Velasquez listened patiently while he explained everything starting from the moment he slipped and got laughed at on the line. She asked careful questions about city policy and chain of custody. She told him the physical NAS belonged to the city the same way any scrap item did. But the data might belong to whoever created it unless that entity was dissolved or unreachable. She advised 3 steps. Document everything. Avoid accessing or moving any funds. Notify the city with legal guidance attached. Together they wrote a letter to his supervisor who forwarded it to the department head. Within a week Luis found himself sitting in a small conference room with an IT contractor, a city lawyer, and Ana. The NAS was powered on under watch. Luis input the seed words into an offline wallet. The software derived several addresses. The IT contractor checked them using a separate computer. The wallet held a significant sum untouched for a long time. The air in the room felt tight. The city lawyer took notes by hand. The IT contractor said the original owner might never come forward. Ana explained that if no heir or partner appeared after proper notice, the assets could be treated as abandoned. Local policy allowed finders to receive a share when property could not be returned. Luis left that meeting with mixed nerves. He had expected trouble or anger. Instead, there was a path forward, though a slow and bureaucratic one. That night, he could barely sleep. Every sound outside felt like something trying to knock sense into him. Public notices were posted online and in a small local paper. The building owner confirmed that Harbor Ridge had dissolved cleanly after a final contract fell through. One former partner was located but claimed he had no rights to company funds, and that the employee who kept the crypto records had moved overseas years earlier. Weeks passed with no claims. The city attorney recommended petitioning a court for ownership of abandoned digital assets. The plan was to convert the holdings carefully and use the funds for a municipal tech upgrade program and a worker training grant. A portion of the recovered amount would legally be offered to the finder. Luis attended the council session where this was discussed. The chamber felt worn and unglamorous. When asked what he hoped to gain, he answered with a steady voice. He said he wanted whatever outcome let him live without shame and without trouble for the city. If someone rightful appeared, they should take it all. If not, he hoped to be treated fairly for bringing the discovery forward. That answer earned him quiet nods. Not praise, just recognition. Eventually the court approved the plan. The award he received was enough to change parts of his life without blowing it apart. He paid off his credit card debt, helped his sister with a down payment on a safer apartment, replaced his rattling car with a used hybrid that did not smell of coolant. His supervisor gave him a rare congratulatory handshake which felt stranger than anything else. Some coworkers teased him, calling him crypto guy, but it came without malice. Others asked if more treasures passed under their gloves every day. He told them the truth. Most stuff was just broken cables, dust, and regret. Luis stayed at the plant. He liked the rhythm even when it was rough. He joined a committee to update salvage policy and push for better handling of data devices. The city erected new secure bins for electronics with tracking tags. A small grant in his name funded workshops on recycling technology at the local community college. He moved into a slightly bigger one-bedroom near the lake and set up a small corner desk where he kept the letter of thanks from the council and a clean notebook of his own. Sometimes he thought about the anonymous worker from Harbor Ridge who had scribbled those 24 words in a black notebook. He wondered what had pushed that person to move overseas and whether they knew their careful habit of writing things down had helped someone else entirely. When he walked through the plant now, he watched the conveyor with a different understanding. Items came and went. Some held forgotten value. Most held none. Treasure was not a glowing thing. It was choices. It was timing. It was what a person decided to carry out of a tough moment instead of letting it pass by. And in the quiet after each shift, when he locked his apartment door and heard the soft click, he felt a grounded, steady gratitude that had nothing to do with luck and everything to do with handling the unexpected without losing himself.